All right, welcome back to another episode of In the Green Bets. Justin here with Grant. A good week. I ended up winning a couple units. You won a handful, I think, right?
Yeah, about 4. After it's all said and done, just an amazing Keegan Bradley bogey to get us the 2-stroke margin there at the end.
Yeah, that was the difference maker.
I tweeted out. I had a bunch of Gary bets and I lost them because he missed a cut, which sucks because he just couldn't do anything with his irons in that shitty day 2 weather. But I tried to pivot on the F1 race. Hit Max to win, but I had him parlayed with the qualified winner, so I got screwed there. But overall, fun weekend. We were together. We had a great time, and we won some money on golf, which is always like a little, icing on the cake.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. I thought I maybe had lost a little bit, and I started doing some math, and CT Pan ended up making a couple birdies in the last handful of holes, getting in the top 20. Obviously, Max winning by 2 was great. We maybe should have saw that coming. His number was pretty good. I bet 1 million guys in the 40s, and he was sitting right there at 40 to 45, depending on where you looked. I bet fucking Paul Casey instead, who didn't even play a hole. So,
it's becoming like you have to be just a crazy person to bet him. I mean, it was what 4 in a row.
Oh yeah, you gotta. He's blacklisted now. He's gotta be.
You can't do anything with. He's not even a winner guy anyway. So like what?
No.
Now that he starts doing this, it's like you have no shot at making my.
Probably waste the money anyway. So right. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really have anybody in the hunt outright wise either, which is kind of weird. It actually did the first day or two. It was looking all right for both of us, kind of thing on the outright side, and then the weather just was crazy and shit just went. Like Damon was up there, Denny was up there, CT Pan was up there, and it was like, oh, might have a chance. And then no. Damon finished like 60th. Denny finished like 28th, something like that. He did cash the top 30 at least. So.
Yeah, you kind of like half-ass talked me out of Keegan, which unfortunately it wouldn't have cashed. So, but he was in the hunt, so that was probably good on you. You saved me.
And Cam Young though, I talked you out of Cam Young too, who finished 3rd again. That dude's fucking good. He's putting together a hell of a season.
He's been awesome.
He should have played this week too, because this week is Cam Young City.
I can't get the Ramey number or the Ramey bets right. Like he just plays well when I don't bet him. It's crazy. Poston. That was one of my best 30s I had. He had some good value there. He finished up there near the top 10, which was great for him. And then Denny, we were both on him. We loved him, and he finished pretty strong for us too. So not bad momentum. We can win money this week with some bombers and head into the PGA here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So AT&T Byron Nelson, finally a good field. It's been a while, basically since the Masters has been pretty shit. Well, RBC was decent, but shitty field. So it's nice to see some good players. JT, Spieth, Xander, Scotty Scheffler, Brooks, a DJ, bunch of guys are here.
Yeah, I think we have 7 of the top 15, I believe.
Yeah, well, that sounds right. Just missing a handful of guys, really. So it'll be interesting to see this court. This field was not that good last year, if I remember correctly. KH Lee won. This is the second year we've been at TPC Craig Ranch.
Yeah.
The fairways are easy to hit. So it's a bomber's paradise in that sense. It's long, but because the fairways are easy to hit, it doesn't play quite as long. It's like 7,400 yards, but it's a lot of drivers. It's an iron player contest, and then kind of a putting contest. Ultimately, this is not John Rahm. I mean, he's probably a good reason he's not here is because it's just smoke driver out there, try to hit it as close as possible, and whoever makes the most putts wins. But I'll be leaning heavy on bombers and ball strikers just because the putting is so hard to predict. Certainly be looking mostly at iron players, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think we should keep this – I'm going to try to at least – is keep this as simple as possible in the fact that with PGA Tour players, when you get closer to the hold, your proximity just starts to shrink, right? That's just kind of how it works. So if you get guys who can hit it out there – it's not that they're worse or better iron players. You just have a distinct advantage being 30 yards ahead of them. So, especially with a layout like this. So I think that's kind of the mindset that I have. And we saw it last year with the leaderboard. Guys like Bramlett, Vegas, right? Burns, all up there. Guys who can really, really hit it. Stallings, right? The muscle man himself who can just smoke driver. That's about it. So we saw it last year. I think my car is going to have a little bit of a same mold besides the one guy at the very top who isn't necessarily known for his bomber, but his irons are historically good.
Yeah. Well, let's hop into the outright market because I think it's an interesting market. There's like a weird drop off, and the books are all over the place as far as numbers. I've seen all kinds of different numbers. Obviously, I want to preface the whole thing with I honestly think Scotty's going to win again. He's the best player in the world. It's not close right now. He's playing like basically perfect golf. This course, if you were going to build another course for Scotty to play, it's this one. The dude fucking bombs it. He's a great iron player, and he's putting awesome right now. There's no reason to think like obviously it'd be crazy for him to win 5 out of 7, but like if he hadn't won, it'd be like, okay, that he's playing the best. It's obvious. There's a reason he's 7-1. But
he's such like a good birdie maker too. Like he just makes a shit ton of birdies, and when he gets hot, it's like really unstoppable.
He's got a 59 on his record.
Right, and he's not a guy, which this is kind of obviously shaped here in the last few months or so, but when he's not making birdies, it's not like he's making bogeys. He's just shooting even par at all times. So then when he makes the birdies, it just stacks on itself over 4 days. He's obviously elite. The only thing I would push back on a little bit is the strength of field. Obviously, he won the Masters, so which would have been a really strong field. But with a field like this, his odds, of winning that many times in that little events probably goes down a little bit, just with the fact that somebody else could play super, super well, especially some of these names like DJ here at 18. That's not a bad, JT can hit it far and is an unbelievable iron player. So if his putter gets going, he'll have his chance. What do you think about Xander coming off of his partner win? Does he have a little juice in his step? I don't know. I think that any of these guys could be live up here.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not saying that he has any better chance than a normal week. I just think this course sets up perfect for him, and he's playing better than all these guys. So it won't shock me at all if he wins or finishes in the top 5.
Yeah, I think it'd be a simple way to put it is if he hadn't had the last few months we'd probably be betting him right now. Like we'd be betting him at like 40 because of how well the course is.
Yeah, at least like 25, 30 for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm starting. I did find it. Me and you were chatting before the show. I didn't think there was anybody in the 20s that I wanted to bet. However, I found. All right, I am going to bet DJ at 22.
Okay.
I found DJ at 22. That obviously he's been like trending weird. Like he's played okay, but he miscut RBC. He's looked decent, but not like DJ. But I think it's coming. He started to trend the right way, and this course obviously makes a lot of sense for him. Just bomb it out there, get ready for next week, and he's a guy who will just win. It's been a while since he's won. He's super due. So I think 22 is a fair number for him comparatively.
Yeah, I like the narrative of him playing this event prior to the PGA. I think that we've seen it obviously over time. You probably more than me because you've been watching a little longer than I have, but especially as DJ's gotten older and into his career, is that there's probably only a handful of things that really get him going anymore, right? And getting ready for a major is definitely one of them. So if he comes out and he's playing well and he thinks like, hey, this is something that can, really send me off into the PGA at a course that he for sure can win at, and it's something that, he can compete. Like I fully expect him to put all he has into winning. Whether that happens the first 2 days, I don't know. But if he is, like, you better be worried because he's the same guy who, like, just like Scotty, right? He gets hot and he makes a shit ton of birdies.
Yeah, he kind of needs to get some momentum going next week. He's played okay, but not good, and so I feel like he needs to see the ball start to go in a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't expect him to be out there trying to just go through the motions, get some swings in before next week. He needs some momentum. It's not like it's not like Scotty where it's like, hey, I just need to get some reps in. I haven't played for a while. I think that DJ needs like a win because his play is just not very good, and it's okay, but not DJ level.
Yeah. Well, his number will still be pretty short, even if he doesn't win for next week.
Hell yeah.
But that's just how it is. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays well at all. I actually am starting. So I think we're on the opposite here, right? So DraftKings had DJ at 18, but then you pulled up the 22. And right there, I just saw Spieth at 18. But if you go back to DraftKings, he's at 22, right? Yeah. So it's a little bit of a flip. Yeah. I'm starting with Jordan Spieth. The only reason that he's not popping in anybody's models is because his putter has just been absolute terrible. Jordan Spieth is an unbelievable putter. That's putting it lightly, like unbelievable. And his irons are on absolute fire. Will he go back-to-back? I don't know. It's a hard task, but he's Jordan Spieth. He's done crazy things. He does it all the time, right? So I just like this number. I think the value is there, especially with guys like Will Zalatoris at 14. I mean, come on. Will Zalatoris at 14 over Spieth at 22? That's where I'm starting. I just hit him, which is great. So we're going to hopefully, go back-to-back on the Spieth wins. And I think this is another storyline where you got a guy who want to feed off that momentum, go into that major. I mean, if he wins back to back going into that course, I mean, it's going to be,
he's going to be priced like stupid.
It's going to be absolutely insane. But I could see it happening. That's just kind of the player he is. If that putter gets going, I would watch out for him because his ball striking with his irons is really, really, really good right now.
Yeah. Just want to – obviously, the Zalatoris number is stupid. I'm like the biggest Zalatoris guy there is, but that's a horrible number for a guy who cannot putt. You have to make so many birdies this week that eventually he won't make enough putts. Xander and
he lost
Burns
like 3 on the greens last year at this tournament. He was like third tee to green and then lost like 2 or 3 on the green. So you might as well just copy that data and post it for 2022 because
mark him down for 8.
Yeah,
and disappointed as fuck because he didn't make anything.
Right.
Xander and Burns both are great fits. It wouldn't shock me if they win, but
Burns runner.
I prefer DJ to Burns and Xander only purely based off historical win equity.
Right.
My next guy is right here, Deki Matsuyama. I have him at 31. Of course, is a great fit for him. He can hit it out there. He's a good driver of the ball. He popped second in my model. Basically super good across the board besides the putter, and we've seen him. He's been improved with the putter. He won a decent amount. He's been battling some injuries at some point earlier this year, but 14th at the Masters, 20th at API. He's been fucking good this year. So he's got the ball striking game without a doubt to win here. I think that he fits the course super, super well. And at 31, I'd rather have him than Brooks at 35, just because you don't know what you're going to get from Brooks, day to day. And Decky's proven that he can win.
Yeah, and those long approach shots. There's who do you want more than? Have you seen him hit into long green? Like, it's crazy how good he is. So, he definitely a guy who fits. I don't really know the status of his injury. I guess he's fine, right? Since he played
14th at the Masters.
Yeah, so I think he's fine. That's just kind of been like a recent storyline of his, right? I'm not really sure if he's like totally healthy, but he should be fine. Yeah, like I say, he's had some time off, and this course, all these good guys, right? This is why they're good. They play really well at courses like this. Yeah,
those stats are pretty undeniable.
Yeah,
so
outrageous.
I think 31 is a pretty fair number considering how good he is. And then I think you and I are both on the same guy in the same range, Joaquin.
Yeah, so he's going to be my one and done. I'll get into that later. But yeah, Joaquin Niemann, I think this is another one, right? This is kind of has that genesis. He kind of laid the blueprint when he played there. Is like he can just ball strike you to death. And if he can bring even a fraction of that and get hot with his putter, right? Bent's the only one that he right there, perfect. He only gains on Bent. That's just like a perfect thing. He's been finishing really, really well. I don't see any reason why he can't contend this week.
Yep, you can throw a Honda out. That was a week after win all the way across the country. Other than that, 6th, 1st, 22nd, 35th, 12th, super, super good form. I love him. I love him this week. I don't see any reason he can't win. Some stats that I was looking at in particular this week. Obviously, approach play and off the tee, huge. Yeah. But for me, strokes gained par 5. Obviously, Niemann's way up there. Decky's way up there. But proximity. Like, there's a few guys' comments. If you read Steve Bamford's tips article on golf betting, what the hell's the website? Golf betting UK, whatever it is. The players were talking about basically it's just driving doesn't matter other than the fact that you can hit it really far, and then it's just who can hit it the closest. It's like if you can hit it really close a bunch of times, you're probably going to have a good chance of winning because you're giving yourself the best looks to make putts. Right. So it's just an iron. It's just a second shot golf course. Neiman 12th in proximity over the last 24 rounds. Deki 12th. Love that for sure. Neither of them are like amazing putters, but they have shown, unlike Zalatoris, they've shown the ability to putt well enough to win golf tournaments, and Zalatoris has not. So that's, you see Zalatoris here obviously popping super high, but it's like I don't see the win upside at a course where you're going to have to make a shitload of putts.
Right.
So
this is
35, I think, is the best number I saw, Matt.
This is, I think we should have stated this earlier, but this is not like a hard, long play the difficult guy. This person's going to have to score a shit ton. This going to be in the 20s. So
it was like 23, 25
yeah, I think
last
it was 23 last year. So this is a little bit different of a player than we're looking for. We're looking for guys who can ball strike, but also have the potential to make a bunch of putts. It's not the guys who are scrambling for pars. It's the guys who are making birdies and keep on charging along. So that's exactly what you were talking about here with Neiman and a bunch of guys that we've already mentioned.
Yeah. So then you hop into this range. Koepka through, let's say Vegas. None of those guys do anything for me. That's a range I typically like to bet a lot.
Yeah, Gooch is the only one, I think.
Gooch is interesting to me, but I don't know about at 45.
Everybody in the world is betting Adam Hadwin this weekend, so be careful with that.
Hey, yeah, be careful. A lot of people are on Brooks at 35. I see it in terms of oh yeah, it's a decent number, but I'm not really sure he has his game's not really been there, and I don't really know that he has the focus for this type of event, especially with a major next week. Adam Scott's played all right, but I just not better than these other guys.
Is really bad, I think, because he performed well here last year, but I wouldn't bet the Power 35. I wouldn't bet that either.
His numbers have been so weirdly high, but then DraftKings pricing, he's down with all these other fucking dudes way down here. So I don't really get that. I do like Wise at 55. He's been playing really, really well. Aaron Wise is volatile as hell, but 13th in approach, 7th off the tee, 9th opportunities gained, 4th in proximity, like I mentioned.
He's not very good at avoiding 3 putts.
No, he's not. He's a horrible, horrible putter, but he's starting to trend a little the last couple of weeks with the putter. Bent's one of his better surfaces. 6th, 21st, his last 2 starts. I just think that he has I don't really care about bad starts with him because he's so up and down. He'll just play horrible, then play fine, miscut 17th the next week. So
he'll eventually blow people out because of how well he plays, a strike. So you're just kind of betting that you hit that week, right? I mean, you're not gonna Aaron Wise ain't gonna do a bunch of string off a bunch of wins. He's gonna show up one week and be like, what the fuck? Aaron Wise just smoked people. So it's
his putter showed, he did decent with his putter and his irons were awesome. So I liked his number at 55.
If he's not putting well, you just hope that doesn't even matter if he
seems to break even.
Yeah, it's who cares?
He falls into Zalatoris category a little bit. He's not the ball striker that Zalatoris is, but his putter is bad.
Right.
But I'm getting him at 55 when he's proven he can win. I think he won this event, right?
Who?
Wise. Didn't he win this event 4 or 5 years ago? Not that matters. It's a different course, but I'm pretty sure he won this event.
I didn't include any research prior to 2021.
Me either. Really. Any other guys in this range? I have one other guy. Now, he's priced a little farther down in a different book, but
I have a guy at 75, but he's not on the screen right now, and that's Keith Mitchell.
This is a Keith Mitchell course for sure. Bombers really Paradise.
Good too. He missed the cut last week, which is weird. I was on him a little bit, but he's been doing everything they need him to do. Stroke gain par 5. He's number 2 in my model, right? We already talked about how important that could be off the tee. His approach game has been pretty decent, up in the 40s as far as in the field, which is going to be fine. We just need him to get hot on the greens. That's it, right? But a number like 75, that's kind of how that is at all times. So I don't hate it. I think that if he's going to win, it'd be at an event like this.
So the other guy that I like, and his number is 85 at FanDuel, I think, is Mito. And I know everybody's had their Mito heartbreak or whatever. They bet him he missed the cut type of thing. But you look at his not worse than 27th, his last 2 before that, not worse than 30th. Approach play is super, super good, gaining like a mother off the tee. I know he's going to bring it tee to green. I don't have any question about that. It's these rounds, these -4s on the greens. But, Bent's not a bad surface for him overall. I just think that the game is in there at 85-1. If he can just find the putter for a week, that I don't mind it. And he's been playing some good golf.
I wish we could have clipped this because we talked about Mito. Remember when he dropped to like 20 or whatever it was? When we talked like, just wait, you'll get him at good numbers. He'll be the same player, right? You would now want to bet him at 85. Look at this. So
right.
You got to be careful on some of these events. Guys like Mito, like he's not just going to win he could win this week just as easy as he probably could win in a bad field. It's not going to be much different. So, wait for these good numbers. And I agree. If you're going to bet him, these are types of week to do it.
Yeah. So if you look at his stats here, I've got them highlighted. Obviously, the strokes gained par 5 and the birdie number is alarming to me right off the bat. But super good avoiding 3 putts. Plays the par 4s really well, which is like the biggest indicator of success on a week-to-week basis. Is can you score on par 4s? That's most of the holes. 27th in proximity, so he's hitting it close. Obviously, same with opportunities gained. Ball striking numbers are there. So if we can clean up some of the par 5 stuff and roll in a few more putts, the birdies will come. So at 85, you're not going to get a perfect player at 85-1. So I'm going to pick on the guys whose ball striking is super good and go from there.
85-1 is not likely, right? You have to think about that stuff. His
chance of winning is not
right. So, but he has a simple equation. He has score on par 5s and make putts, right? Other than that, he's fine. So it's a simple game, right? It's not likely, but it could happen. So 85-1 is not too bad.
And Munoz is kind of in the same category for me. I don't think I'm going to bet him. I'd rather bet Mito, I think. But Munoz has been playing some good golf, hits it far, can really get streaky with his irons and his putter. I don't have any problem betting him at, 75. I don't know if you can find him higher or not, but you might be able to.
I think you just passed him, actually. Yeah,
66 there. 70. So 75, you could do worse.
Not bad.
Down here, I'm probably not. I don't hate Kitayama at 100
be the only one
because he's playing really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
And this course sets up great for him. Other than that, Fratelli at 130, he hits it far too. But I don't know what his form is even really like.
I got the young wolf on my card.
Oh boy,
130, baby. Matthew.
Look, I get it. He finally played well, and obviously a course where you can just nuke bombs off the tee makes a lot of sense for him. But I just don't know that I'm ready to lose money on Matt Wolff again.
I can't wait to hit. He's probably not going to win, but he is going to win eventually. So he's actually he's already won.
And then once you get down past him, I don't think you should bet any of these guys to win for sure. None of these guys are winning.
Maybe like Carlos.
There's been some weird winners at this event, but this field's a little bit better than I think it normally is.
Yeah, none of these guys are winning.
Jaeger played good finally. He played good last week. Lashley's been playing okay, but this is not a tournament that I expect him to do well in. Laird's been playing well, but not for a winner. Yeah, I think it's the 30 to 60 range probably, but like I said, a lot of those guys I'm not really in love with.
I wanted to talk about the par 3s. So we have like 3, or I think there's 3 over 200 par 3s this week, which is going to have some long approaches. I did 200 plus par 3s as a filter. I actually included in my Tuesday names list. There's some guys I just wanted to talk about. Kitayama, right? He hits it far and he was good in that. So that's kind of like the value there. If you want to bet him, you just kind of ride the hot streak and hope that there's a win in there. Swafford, who we just passed actually at like 250, I think. Yeah. Gooch, Hoagie, and Hadwin. I want to get into Hadwin a little bit later because I have a matchup with him I want to talk about. But Hadwin's, he's the model guy for everyone. So, be careful, but at the same time, the model is what it is. It's, they're there for a reason. So, maybe it's not a bad thing to have confidence in him, but I would be careful betting a ton on him.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Top 20s, I think that range that we're talking, I really like Deki at plus 150. That's a little bit shorter than I normally would go, but I think that's a pretty solid number. Pretty good return for a guy who's been really, really consistent when he's healthy and he's had some time to rest and obviously showed up at the Masters. This course sets up great for him. We both love Neiman. I think plus 175 is the number that's available on Neiman. Obviously, we both. I mean, this is maybe where I play Gooch and play Wise and Hadwin. Those type of guys. Also, Mito. Those guys maybe that's where I start. Playing some of these guys.
I had this. I kind of wanted to. I mean, this is just what I just said, but Hadwin, Kitayama, guys like that, right? Gooch, if you want a little bit more insurance on guys who you think could play well. Try to stick. Is EVR playing this week or no? He's in the Fantasy National thing, but I don't see him.
I don't think so. No.
I kind of liked him too, but he's not on here, so that's all right.
Yeah, some guys that popped in my model that are priced down. Obviously, Hadwin, Brian Harmon, but I'm not really.
I'm
gonna
WD didn't he?
Thing. Oh, maybe he did. I didn't see that.
I think he did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, disregard Brian Harmon. But
what about Nolan?
Noren popped in my model.
Yeah. Vegas fished well last year.
Vegas. I don't hate going back to CT Pan now. I don't know if he gets run over because he doesn't hit it very far, but his iron game has been real. He has gained on approach in 7 straight, gained off the tee in 4 straight. But his finishes are 48th, 41st, 42nd, 29th. So it's he's not really turning it into much. But 15th last week at Wells Fargo. So, I don't know that I'm going to play him on a long course, but he's a guy to keep in mind. He's one of those guys that you just put, depending on how he, plays this week. When we come back to normal golf after the major, he's a guy maybe to keep in mind when we get on courses that maybe fit him a little bit better for sure.
I think the best bet is Neiman is 160. So we both like
175.
Where was that at?
I don't remember. I saw him at 175. Bet Rivers.
Either way, I think that's decent value for a guy that we both really, really like. So I think if I had a suggestion for that range, that's kind of where I would start.
Yeah, and Deki at plus 150, like I said.
Right.
Smotherman's been gaining like a mother off on approach, literally 7 straight. His finishes are not that good, but his chipping is apparently terrible. He can't gain on around the greens to save his life, but his tee to green game's been pretty damn strong. So, maybe he's a top 40 guy.
Right.
Well, matchups.
Yeah,
I think there's some.
I like some matchups this week. I think that's going to be, I might have 4 or 5 on the card. And I've been winning a ton on matchups, so that's good.
What's your what's one you're looking at here?
So DK, I started with Hadwin over McNeely. I know people like McNeely, but I just like the way Hadwin fits, like I talked about. I think I would stay away from Hadwin's number, and I would bet stuff like this. This is the kind of stuff that I like for him. Next one I had was Mitchell over Munoz, was minus 110. I like Keith Mitchell. I liked him last week. Unfortunately, I missed the cut. Munoz is a really good ball striker, but he plays well in certain events, and I don't know. He obviously can play well, but doesn't seem like these are the events that he pops at.
Yeah.
And then the next one I have, unfortunately, is against the guy you like with Wise, Mackenzie Hughes over Aaron Wise. I agree.
This is not a Mackenzie Hughes course.
Well, he's a good par 3 player, and he's obviously a really good bent putter. He's just a bent, specialist. So that's why I liked him. Yeah, he is not very big, but Aaron Wise can finish 10th.
Oh yeah,
110.
The volatility of Aaron Wise is.
That's kind of why I like it. But that's just kind of the first things I gravitated to on DK.
Yeah, no, I don't. I see your logic there. Plus, he's, and pretty good underdog.
Right.
I talked up DJ plus 105 over Zalatoris. I don't hate that. Zalatoris' floor is so high though that I don't think that's something I'm gonna be dying to bet. I like DJ, but Zalatoris is not the guy that I'm trying to fade in terms of that.
Burns is also the dog to Zalatoris. It depends. I don't know. What do you think about Burns? I mean, he obviously is way up there for his number, but he clearly fits. I think he finished runner up here last year or third, one of the two. He was right there in the mix, behind KH.
Yeah, he finished second or third, I think.
He's a really good putter. If he can get things going, obviously this is a good setup for him. Him and Zalatoris kind of have the same argument, just without the putting, right? It's like Zalatoris is a little bit better, is a better iron player, but Burns has like the distance and the putting, so it's like just a weird
and
mix.
Like 3 wins,
right? Yeah, true. So I would maybe even think about leaning towards the Burns route just because he's less popular than Zalatoris. I mean, come on, take the value there.
Definitely. Hadwin over Noren. Noren's played okay, but Hadwin is just like makes a ton of sense.
I can't win Noren matchups. I can't. Like, I just literally can't. So I don't know what to tell you there.
Pereira over Lanto. Lanto's been playing good.
He's been playing really good.
It's maybe a bit dangerous, but I like the fit for Pereira. Keith Mitchell over Sepp Straka. Sepp's been playing good, but I like getting Keith on a longer course like this.
Yep.
And Deki over Xander. I expect Deki to be like top 10 at worst. Like this course, he's probably. We'll talk about one and dones later, but he's on the short list for me for sure this week.
How do you feel about betting against Kisner based on the length?
Depends on who it is, but yeah.
It's Kazire, and then the same number at -110.
No. Hell no. Kazire could finish DFL.
Yeah, that's true.
He's one of those guys that, like, you think, oh, all the things are pointing to him, and then he shoots like 80 in the first round. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Noren is even money against a -120 Johnny Vegas. I get Johnny Vegas fits, but Johnny Vegas is like, to me, Johnny Vegas. So let's take it easy on that.
Right.
If I bet it, Johnny Vegas will win by 100 strokes, so just be careful.
Right.
But if I don't bet it, maybe you should think about betting Noren.
Yeah. All right. Back to the well, I assume, on margins.
Oh, we have. I mean, we would be on such a nice streak if I wouldn't have been stupid and got off of it. That was completely my fault. Hand up. Hopefully there's just one person out there that just said, like, Grant, you're a fucking idiot. I'm going to keep betting the ones and twos.
Right.
But yeah, golf tournaments finish with 1 stroke, 2 stroke most of the time. We're going to keep going. It finished 3 last year, but that's fine. We got a better field that should shrink that up a little bit. 1s and 2s, 250 and 350.
Okay, one and done. So I'm looking at the guys I have available. I've got Scotty, JT, Burns, Spieth, Zalatoris, Deki, Neiman, all available.
I'm taking Neiman. Just make sure, not that you can't understand. For purposes, I'm taking Neiman.
Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but I may play Scheffler.
I kind of was thinking that you were going to do that.
He's playing like, when are you ever going to get him playing better than this? I've already fucking missed it 4 times, so it's like, what if he like comes back to earth after the PGA and it's like, damn, now he won 4 times and had 3 other top 5s and is like, well, no, I didn't use him once. You
have guys you're comfortable taking in the 3 majors, right?
Yeah, so I have JT, Rom, and Cantlay, and then I think I have somebody else. I mean, I still have.
Did you take Xander yet?
Yes, I already used Xander and DJ and Brooks.
DJ, yeah. Spieth?
I still have Spieth.
Okay.
Spieth is a potential Open Championship guy, depending on the weather. Right. If the weather looks like it's gonna be shitty, he's definitely an option there.
Yeah, you got Tiger too.
Well, while we're on it for a second, because this is kind of a strategy thing, is so obviously this tournament's not like a huge one, but the field's good, so you're probably going to take somebody pretty good.
Right.
PGA's next week. I need to have somebody for that. Oh, I also have Vic.
Vic's supposedly going to be pretty popular next week based on the location of the golf course, I believe.
Well, yeah. I assume. I've been saving Vic for the PGA.
I forgot I read this morning. I think this was the PGA First Look article, maybe. Willie Z says he played this course hundreds of times, he said, quote.
Yeah, and he still can't putt good here.
Yeah, so that's why he's going to be so popular, because it's down there. It's in like Dallas, right, or something. Or it's like near Dallas. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, would you even consider taking Willie Z like for your one and done?
I would, because the floor I think is so high.
Right.
Like his ball striking floor is like what, 15th?
But we need to get wins, or else we'll have no shot at like getting to the top.
Right. So I did Neiman, Deki, and Scheffler are kind of the three that I'm leaning.
Deki. He wouldn't be very popular.
I think I'm going to take Deki because I don't know that I'm not going to use him in a major probably. Like I have Rahm and JT, and in theory I have Scheffler and Vic for the last three majors, plus there's some other big events. No. Yes, I use him at the Players.
Ooh, see, I used Rahm, so I have Morikawa left. So hopefully he's in a major.
Well, and I have Cantlay that I'm going to use at Memorial. I know everybody's going to use him, but like I gotta have it. So, and that's because that's a huge money regular season event, and he's been like the Memorial killer.
I like the Scheffler play, and he probably won't even be that popular in one and done because people have already used him.
61% league availability.
Oh,
Deki has 60%. I imagine Neiman will be popular, Willie Z will be popular, and probably Spieth.
People who have Scheffler are going to want to keep him, though.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to burn
That's kind of my thought is like in a game theory thing, like people are probably going to want to save him. I just might blow him while he's still playing good. Yeah. Allegedly, he shot 64 at Southern Hills on Monday in a practice round and looked like unbelievable. But
yeah,
I don't know.
The ideal situation is you obviously use him, you hit him, and then those people who saved him for the major, you have to back it up with the win of the other person who wins the major. So you double them down. So that could be happy, but I think Neiman's going to play awesome. So I'm going to stay there and keep it simple for me. Who do
you have left for majors?
I've only have a lot of guys left. Yeah, I've only used Rory, Rahm, and JT. That's my big guys I've used. So Vic, Scheffler,
DJ.
Yeah, DJ. Morikawa. I have to use Morikawa. If I don't use Morikawa, then I'm just the biggest idiot on the planet.
What about Xander?
No, I haven't used him. Oh, also Billy Horschel because I forgot to click his name one week.
Yeah. Don't use Billy Horschel at a major.
I used Deki at the Genesis, and he won me $45,000, so that's good.
Yeah. I think that I might go – it'll be between Deki and Scheffler.
Okay.
I think that it's an odd week, and I'm so far fucking behind now. I've been cashing recently, but it's not been –
It's not enough. Everybody's cashing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Everybody gets guys to make the cut. Nobody gets the winner.
Yeah. Somehow I have 3 top 5s. Everybody else around me, no one even has close to 3 top 5s, but I have like
100 missed cuts.
I've only made 9 cuts out of.
Hey, that's not.
I don't know.
I used Willie Z at the Farmers, and he got second, I believe.
I've missed 6. I've missed 6 cuts, and then Mark Leishman also only got me like 20,000.
There was a matchup, Brooks and Mark Leishman, they're the same price at 110. Also, if people like Brooks this week.
Also, Tyrrell Hatton choked his face off last week. He was in like 4th going into Sunday. I had him in one and done. He finished 37th, got me 41,000.
Hitting the Tyrrell Hatton spike week is like, I mean, you might as well shut your eyes and try to hit a bullseye on a dartboard. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Best bet? Do you have a best bet?
Yeah, Neiman top 20, 175.
I think Deki top 20 at 150 is mine. I think this Deki, I just know what I'm getting.
Right.
If his putter doesn't show up, maybe he finishes, 25th, which would suck. But like, if he putts okay, I expect his tee to green game to be elite.
Right.
I have as many top 5s and almost as many top 20s as the guy in second place, but he has 2 wins and about $5 million more than I do.
We have one thing we just have to address it.
That we absolutely fucking massacred the future market on NBA.
ESPN should be hiring us to cover the futures bets for next season. It was unbelievable how good we were. It was truly unbelievable.
I'm pulling it up right now.
It was truly unbelievable. A feat that will rarely, I don't know if it'll be topped by us ever again. Hopefully it will, but maybe not.
That would be impressive, honestly, at this point. So I bet 9 over-unders I won 7 of them. I also bet I won Thunder under a 14.5 seed and Suns under a 3.5 seed. I only lost one of those. I lost the Hawks. Player props, I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 player props. I hit John Morant most improved at 30-1, and I hit Monty Williams Coach of the Year at 12-1. Like that is a fucking rout. I was up 24 units.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's really, 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 really good. So I tweeted out. I didn't even have enough space to put all the player props. I just put plus a bunch more because I knew we'd talk about it. Our player props were unbelievable. Like, everything was on fire. It was really, really good.
Oh, and I missed the Jazz to hit the most 3-pointers this season by like 15
threes or something. Yeah,
like 8-1. It was right there.
A couple losses that I have. Oh, I had Blazers over, which was really stupid. They sucked.
I had Spurs and Knicks. Those were the two I lost. The Knicks, that was a stupid one. Spurs are actually kind of close.
Yeah, and Warriors under, which they end up being like a finals contender, which whatever. Shoot me because I bet against a team that I didn't think Jordan Poole was going to be Michael Jordan, all right?
Yeah.
And the last one, if we could have completed like the real sweep, was Jalen Green to win Rookie of the Year. We bet him just based off he was priced a little bit lower than Cade. Unfortunately, he didn't actually learn how to play basketball until like April.
50 games in.
Yeah, so that wasn't good. But I don't. Either way, we were amazing.
You hit Jokic MVP, and yes. I hit most improved and Coach of the Year. That's 3 of the main awards.
Yeah, Suns under 3.5 seed too.
Yeah, yep. It was an absolute massacre.
Yeah, the best part I hope. And we did so much, not a ton of research, but like we tried to put as much thought into those awards as possible. Like who wins the award, and what are the types of guys
what are the things that cause people to
who are going to be in those positions the following year, right? We had it nailed down. Ja was an obvious pick. We got that one perfect. Hopped on it with an unbelievable number. That number severely dropped like a couple days after we had got it. And it was something for the history book. So I can't wait to try to repeat it again next year. And we missed Anthony Edwards by like I don't know, like 50 points. And all because of like 1 week where he decided to like not play very hard.
He was hurt. He got hurt and kept playing.
Yeah.
And like just absolutely tanked. And he also had a few games where he went like 1 for 12. And you can't do that. But it was an absolute showing. We did 4 shows. So we did 3 over-under shows and then a props and player and like award show. You go back and watch them. You know, proof's in the pudding. It's all there. It was an absolute massacre.
This is like all date stamped. Like we got this is all like, I can't believe it. It honestly gets me jacked up because I can't wait to do it again next year because it's so fun looking at some of the storylines. But I wanted to add, I bet the Bucks today at 350 or 380, whatever I told you, I can't remember.
Yeah.
To win the title. I think they got mispriced a little bit after losing that game last night. Just based on
win the East, right?
To win the East, right? Title was 8-1, which I also like because I think they're going to win the East. But I just went a little bit safer with just the East. If they win this series, they're winning They're winning the East. They're going to beat whoever wins the next series, unless somehow Embiid becomes like Superman, which he kind of is, but it not going to happen. Giannis is an absolute monster. And the way he plays just makes everything for his teammates so easy to go out there. But the way he pressures the rim and just opens things up. I think if you gave me the series price, right, at 3 whatever, like everybody in the world would bet that, right? It's a 3-game series with them versus the Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics are good. Jason Tatum had to make a falling down like left-handed scoop shot just to keep them in the game there at the end. Marcus Smart was posting up George Hill at the end of the game. Like that was just a wonky game. Al Horford had 30 points, right? Like they deserved to win that game based on how they're playing. I think the Bucks still have a great chance at winning the series, and if they do, they are absolutely going to the finals. 350. I would add that if you're looking for a little bit of playoff juice to get these games a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, that's a great number. It's not up anymore because the Miami game is going on.
Right.
That's why Miami's also winning by a decent amount.
They're beating Miami. I love Miami. I'm a Miami fan. I watch them all the time. They're beating Miami. That's just how it's going to happen.
The Mavericks are 850 to win the West. I
play
think
tonight,
that they
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they can beat the Suns. I don't know that I would bet on that, but if they get by the Suns, they're like one injury away from being in the conference in the championship. Luka is a monster. Like, he is a monster. There's no answer for him because Mikal Bridges was like unanimous first team all defense, and he's just putting his ass underneath the rim like every possession. And if you double, it's in a wide open three, and all these guys are making them. So they don't have an answer.
So many threes last game. It was unbelievable.
Oh my God, unbelievable. It's one of those like confidence things though too. It's like you start hitting a bunch of them, like then they all start going in. So 850 is a pretty reasonable number. I mean, I wonder what they are. I don't know what they are to win they're plus 210 to win their series against the Suns. So, and they're going to be what, like probably similar if they got past them and to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, they'll be an underdog to the Warriors for sure.
You could bet that and roll it, and it'd be I think it'd be pretty similar odds. But you know, that's an interesting bet to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're betting on a guy who's just, he's up there in the top players in the entire league, which is always good in the NBA postseason. The issue is there's another one of those guys on the other side of the court in the next round named Stephen Curry, who has multiple titles. So that would obviously be an issue, but the numbers there, I like the value. I'm going to stick to the East just because I've grown to just like love Giannis just with how hard he plays. And I think he just like the way he pressures other teams on their defenses is just unmatched. Like it's unbelievable how much he's like just a freight train to the rim at all possessions. Just gives guys the easiest looks. If he had a couple of guys on his team who could really stroke it, like it would be a wrap. But unfortunately, they don't. They just have Drew who can make threes. But Chris comes back. Hopefully if they can win this, they'll have Chris playing. And I think that's good value. So I got 350 on them.
Can you guess Shaedon Sharp's odds? Did you look at this to be the number one pick?
50?
75.
Ooh.
We bet him at 200 a few weeks ago. It's still not likely, but like I still think there's a chance. I still think it's a team thing. Like if the right team gets the number one pick, that's the route for him to get it. It's like some team who's like, I don't really need a 6'10" like guy who's got a high floor. I'd rather take this kid who like has the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean we need one thing, and that's workouts. We have to get private workouts, or else we'll have no chance. Once you get that, you'll start seeing these tweets, right? Like, oh, Sharp was crazy impressive. He dominated this, dominated that. All of a sudden, those odds will go fall way down.
Yeah. It does not appear that it's going to let you cash that out. But also, I just realized I have a Cantlay to win the PGA future that I bet a while back, 28 to 1.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
It's a good number. So we'll start the card with that next week. But all right, that's it. Cards will be out, and
no Formula One, unfortunately, but
we'll
be back after that. I think it's in. I have it pulled up right here. Oh, it's in Spain.
Be a fun one. All right, that'll be it. Peace out.
See ya.